ค่ะก็สวัสดีนะคะวันนี้นะคะ EFL EFL ร่วมกับ University of Melbourne นะคะมีเอ่จัดงาน Design Virtual Info Session นะคะได้รับเกียรติจากคุณเอ่อ Collier เป็น Recruitment จาก Recruitment Manager จาก University of Melbourne นะคะเอ่อ ขออนุญาตแนะนำตัว EFL นะคะ EFL เป็นตัวแทนอย่างเป็นทางการของ University of Melbourne นะคะเราบริการให้คำปรึกษาช่วยดำเนินการวีซ่าค่ะติดตามสถานะการสมัครแล้วก็ยื่นวีซ่าด้วยแล้วจองหอพักด้วยแล้วก็ในทุกๆเทอมเนี่ยจะมีเจ้าหน้าที่คอยไปดูแลน้องๆที่ออสเตรเลียเลยค่ะสำหรับช่องทางการติดต่อนะคะสามารถติดตามเราได้ที่เพจ Facebook Education for Life นะคะแล้วก็Instagram educationforlife.bkk Live Official มี @EFLBKK แล้วก็ไปดูเอ่อวิดีโอพาทัวร์โดยเฉพาะวิดีโอพาทัวร์ University of Melbourne ได้ที่เพจEducation for Life Thailand นะคะแล้วก็ในวันที่ 19 นี้ค่ะ 19 มีนาคม 2568มันจะมีเป็น one-on-one session University of Melbourne Application Day นะคะกับคุณแคลร์บิงลีย์ค่ะ Regional Manager ของ University of Melbourne นะคะสำหรับใครที่สนใจสมัครเรียนหรือว่าอยากปรึกษาขั้นตอนการสมัครเรียนนะคะสามารถลงทะเบียนกันได้นะคะงานจะจัดที่โรงแรมโซฟิเทลสุขุมวิทนะคะตั้งแต่5 โมงเย็นจนถึง2 ทุ่มค่ะเดี๋ยวต่อไปจะเป็นการพรีเซนต์จากคุณคอลเลียร์นะคะ
Think you can see that? Study design? Perfect. All right, so let's see. Okay, MSc. Okay, so first of all, I would like to do an acknowledgement. So this is something that we do quite a lot before any of the events that we run or meetings that we have. So when you come on campus, you're going to come across this a lot. And I'd like to say that the university acknowledges the Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander traditional custodians of the land on which we work and learn, and we pay respect to elders past and present and the place of Indigenous knowledge in the academy. So, first of all, let me tell you a little bit about the faculty. So in the faculty, we have an undergraduate degree that is called the Bachelor of Design. Now, the Bachelor of Design allows you to do a large number of majors in design, in computer engineering, whatever it is that you're interested in doing. There are majors in there that will then lead you directly into Melbourne School of Design, which is a part of the faculty, but it is the graduate part of the faculty. So just to give you an example, if you wanted to be an architect, you would come in to the faculty, you would do the Bachelor of Design, which is a 3-year degree. Your major would be architecture. And then you would go into the Melbourne School of Design, which is still part of the faculty, and you would do Master of Architecture. Okay. As you can see from here, our 2- and 3-year master degrees are all professionally accredited. What that means to you is if you want to work in Australia or internationally as an architect or a landscape architect or an urban planner, you are able to. Okay, we also have a very multidisciplinary approach, and this is why we also teach other majors into our degrees, such as engineering. Of course, we have construction, computing, user experience. There are so many. Okay, so Melbourne School of Design, it has its own building, of course, and the actual building is used as a tool, an educational tool. So in this photo, you can see on the right what's called hanging studios. So these are 3 levels of actual studios hanging from the rooftop, and students go in there and they collaborate. So when we do have students coming into their undergraduate degree, Bachelor of Design, we do use the building as a learning tool within itself. As you can see, it's very much a sustainable building. We're always learning and improving, and we've also had numerous awards into how we actually constructed the building, and it is available to all of our bachelor degrees and all of our Melbourne School of Design students. Our programs. So I mentioned the Bachelor of Design degree, which is an undergraduate degree. Then we have an extension of that as well, and it's called the Bachelor of Design Honours. Now, this degree means you get a 3-year undergraduate degree plus 1 year of a research component. Okay, there are 3 different specializations you can choose from. As you can see there, it's architecture history, landscape architecture, and urban planning. Now, the reason why students might want to do the Bachelor of Design Honours is they might want to go into a research degree, such as Master of Philosophy or a PhD, and then later on potentially even go into academia. Okay, so that's kind of the pathway that you can take. You can do the undergraduate degree, Bachelor of Design, and then you can go into honours if you're interested in research, or you go into our graduate programs. So just to give you an understanding, we have a range of programs. You've got the 1-year only programs, you've got the 2-year programs, 2 to 3, and then you've got quite a longer ones, 3.5 to 4.5 years. I'll start off with the 2-year ones. So the 2-year degrees, they are accredited degrees, and the Master of Urban Planning, for example, does not require you to have a background in anything in particular. So you can do a Bachelor of Design, and you can do whatever major you like, and then go on and do a Master of Urban Planning. You could have done your undergraduate degree in any other university, in any other field or major, and you can go in and do Master of Urban Planning. Okay, so Master of Urban Planning is all about, you know, if you're building a city, what are the policies around it? Lisa would know. What do you have to do in order to actually get it's not so much design, whilst you still have to understand the design aspect, but it is all about, you know, writing and things like that. Master of Urban Design, it's a similar thing, but it is more design heavy. So you do have to come from a background in design. So an architect or a landscape architect, some kind of design background. Then you've got our 2 to 3 year programs. Now, these are very popular programs. These are your core master's programs. So as I said, if you want to become an architect or a construction manager or a landscape architect, or even, you know, work in property, you do the major in undergraduate corresponding to these particular masters, and then you come and do a 2-year master's. Now, when would you do a 3-year master's? That is aimed at career changes. Let's say you've done an undergraduate degree in arts, or I don't know, in food science, in anything, and then you wake up one day and you think, oh my God, I love architecture. I want to be an architect. And instead of going all the way back and doing an undergraduate degree, you actually come in and do a 3-year Master of Architecture. Okay, so in that extra year, we kind of condense all the learnings that you would have had to do in an undergraduate degree. The 1-year degrees are more for developing the knowledge that you have received. Okay, so let's say you're very much interested in, you know, cultural heritage, and you've worked in the sector and you want to actually come out with a master's, you would, you know, we'll look at Master of Urban and Cultural Heritage. The others are diplomas or certificates, and I've already mentioned the Bachelor of Design in Honours. And just briefly, the 3.5 to 4.5 year. Now, Master of Architectural Engineering is a combined Master of Architecture and Engineering. So what that means is that if you come from a background in architecture, but you also want to be an engineer, you can come and do this Master's, and we will decide on the length of it based on the subjects you've studied before. Or it could be the opposite. You could have been studying engineering and you want to study architecture as well. It's the opposite. So Master of Architectural Engineering is actually becoming quite popular internationally because, you know, architects need to know how engineers work and engineers need to know how architects work. So if somebody has this kind of like a double master's, they are, that bit ahead of the others who maybe just have the one master. Which brings me to our double degrees. We do have double masters. Now, whilst these are slightly longer than your standard masters, they do provide, a really great opportunity in a reduced time frame. And they are really designed to ensure that you get the best opportunity to find a job after. So, for example, it's great to know architecture and construction management. That gives you an insight on how construction managers work. So then hopefully that will reflect in your designs. And whilst you might be creating amazing, fantastical designs, they might not be practical to build, but because you've got that, double masters and knowledge, you are able to adapt both of them. The other one that we really noticed taking off is Master of Architecture and Master of Urban Planning. Again, those things in urban planning will influence the way you might be designing in architecture. So it is really all about making sure that you have got those skills to find a job, and whether it's in Australia, whether it's back in Thailand, or whether it's internationally. Accreditation, I mentioned before. So we've got all these accreditation bodies. Some of them are Australian-based, a lot of them are, international, but basically, and for all of them, once you complete your master's, you will need to have work experience. Usually it's 2-year work experience timeline, and then you would have to sit an exam and produce a CV in order to become accredited architect or accredited construction manager. So, for example, if you want to open up your own firm, you want to have your own company, and you want to run it as an architect, you would need to have accreditation. I'll quickly touch on graduate research programs because some of you guys might be interested. Now, we do have a Master of Philosophy and a PhD. Now, the main difference is the length in time. So Master of Philosophy, your thesis is quite condensed, so it is a lot smaller, or shorter, I should say, and then Doctor of Philosophy is really when it's a lot longer. Now, if you want to be called a doctor, you do need to do the PhD. So the entry requirements are there. They're a little bit harder to get into. We do take students who are international only if they get the scholarship from us, because it is, with cost of living, with how intense a PhD is, we do provide scholarships, but students obviously need to meet all the requirements and apply. Just briefly, I wanted to go through our facilities. Obviously, being a design faculty, our facilities are super important. Now, most of these facilities are actually found in the Melbourne School of Design building that I showed you before. So, for example, our Fab Lab, fabrication laboratory, is where you can go in and, obviously use 3D printing, lasers. We've got a robotics lab, which has become, something that you can experiment in. Next lab is very much about VR and also a lot of 3D printing. But as you can see, we've got it's a very hands-on faculty, so it's a hands-on experience, and we've got a lot of opportunities for you to, use whatever it is that you need to. So as I mentioned, next lab, so it's a very futuristic lab within the building, and you also have, 32 of the 3D printers, as you can see, and also VR reality headsets. We do a lot of webinars as well. So we run a lot of webinars through there, which, can become a little bit more interactive, but it's really great next lab. Okay, then we also have, let me see, the Fab Lab and the web shop. It is a much larger space, and this one looks a little bit messy, but as you can imagine, it is used by students a lot, especially when we have assignments due. So, you can go in and use whatever it is that you need to use. Then we've got a design gallery. So the design gallery is our biggest exhibition space, and we really make sure that we show the student work, the work that is produced by students. We do show it to the industry. We do a lot of things to engage the industry. And we do we do encourage students to make sure that you use this space, that you involve yourself in all the opportunity that the faculty has to offer. We also are very lucky, it's very unique to actually still have a library within the building. And it's a huge library with a huge collection. I think it's like one of the biggest built environment libraries. But, you're able to use it in time. It's a great study space. And just the classroom experience, because we do get a lot of students asking, how intensive is my course going to be? How long do I need to spend? What's the lectures like? So for our design subjects, a lot of it will be studio-based teaching. So whilst you might have lectures, which are 200 students or 250 students, you will then have studio, which might be a very small group, maybe 15 students or 16 students, and you will all be working on a problem or a current problem that is happening. So there's a lot of ways for you to get involved. In regards to time commitment, look, it is going to vary from subject to subject, from, degree to degree, but roughly we're looking at, a 20 contact hour per week. What that means is a lecture might be an hour, tutorial might be 2 hours per subject, and you're doing about 4 subjects per semester. Okay, but walking through the building, you will find students studying at all hours, and you will be doing a lot of work, especially if you're doing something very design heavy like architecture. You will be doing a lot of work within the building itself. As I mentioned before, the classes are all very practical, very hands-on. There's going to be studios that you do like hand drawing. There's going to be obviously where you make things. There's going to be computers that you would have to use. And you would also be quite involved in site visits. So this kind of highlights, our industry engagement, but also gives you a chance to go out there and really see, okay, we've learned this part, but let's see it actually out there in action. I would really encourage students, if possible, to do internships, vocational placements. We do actually have a team that will help you find an internship. There are also, so this is within the faculty, but there's also a huge amount of internships available through our careers office as well. And it really is beneficial, when you try to stand out and show your CV and what have you done different, if you've done any internships or placements, or even exchange and study abroad. I mean, if you're lucky enough to go overseas and do a semester overseas, that would be pretty amazing. I mean, you can choose to do a semester or a year-long program, and it's pretty much, 6 months or 12 months. And I wanted to pop this in there because, and sorry, the dates are a little bit wrong, because we've just gone through our own orientation program just now. And it's actually really important to ensure that you arrive in time to go to this program. It is very social. It is about getting to know other students. It's about getting to know your faculty. You really need to make friends because, you will not feel like as lonely as, coming from another country and being an international student. It might feel very daunting and overwhelming, but we design these programs, pre-semester programs, to hopefully, make sure that you find someone else who's in the same, thing as you and who's interested in the same thing, and you might, form lifelong friendships. So it's definitely important to make sure that you sign up to everything that you can possibly sign up to. Support services are important. So when you are looking at a university, apart from, obviously the rankings and the courses, or where you're actually going to be living, in which country, in which city, it is important to make sure that you do use the support services. There are academic support services, will help you, with speaking or presenting because there are group assignments that you would have to do and it can be quite daunting to begin with. But as I mentioned before, careers and employability, they've got awesome workshops to help you build your skills, with networking. They've got things like help you prepare for interviews, help you with CV. So it really is an opportunity that is available to enrich your studies. I'm sure everybody has been waiting for this information. I feel like every single student always asks me about scholarships, and do you have any scholarships? Yes, we do. I mean, we do have scholarships. So the university itself has scholarships in a form of a discount. So for example, you might get 25% off the tuition fee, or you might get 50% off. And then the faculty itself will also look at you and see whether you are able to receive a commencing international scholarship. And those are usually one of 5,000 or 10,000 awards. For current students, so once you're actually in, there are prizes and awards, and we do, publicize them on our website and in our newsletters as well. But the good thing about the commencing student scholarships is that you do not need to look for one. You don't need to apply separately for them. Your one application into the course that you will do through the Education for Life agency, we will look at you for any of the available scholarships. Okay, so that's kind of a good thing to keep in mind. And it is all based on academic merit. So we're not going to look at your portfolio for the scholarship part. It is really just based on your GPA or your WAM or just your total mark that you would receive from your previous study. Okay, I think I've tried to cover as much as I possibly can. So instead of maybe any questions, what I might do is I might have a chat to Lisa. So Lisa is our graduate ambassador, and I would love for Lisa to maybe introduce yourself, tell us, what you studied, but also why did you choose University of Melbourne, and in particular, Melbourne School of Design?
So hi everyone, my name is Lisa. I'm actually currently still doing my third years of bachelor's, majoring in architecture and landscape, and my plan is to continue to do the master's at Melbourne as well. So I chose Melbourne University because the undergraduate degree was quite flexible. I think we mentioned it before, which allows you to do a combination of double majors. And it is structured in a way that even in your first year, if you decided that, you might want to switch to something else, that transition is quite smooth and you don't have to go through a very, tedious process again. And I guess why I would like to continue doing masters here is that I was quite impressed with the faculty and kind of the teaching quality, which is obviously why I want to continue.
Excellent. So you're going to continue to do the masters?
Yes, that's my plan.
Are you thinking of doing a double masters, or are you still not decided?
Yeah, actually, I was considering doing the architectural engineering masters because I thought it was very interesting, and I know the undergrad prerequisite might be a little bit different for it, so I already started looking into it and making sure that I'll meet the prerequisites to go on to do that.
Awesome. To be honest, there are not that many architectural engineers out there. So you would definitely have an advantage.
Yeah, I think it's such a good combination, right?
Yeah.
And then I think all of the architecture students will hear, controversial. The engineers might not like us because we're a bit unrealistic. So it's a good way to kind of prove them wrong and be like, oh, look, I know what you guys are talking about, and I think we can do it.
That's awesome. I also feel like when I speak to international students, they always say, how approachable are professors or academics? How do you find our academics?
Yeah, I would say that they're very friendly, and in the first class or the first lecture, they always let you know kind of their contact details and their office hours. So it's easy to reach out and you always know kind of where to go and how best to reach them.
How did you feel as an international student when you first arrived? Like, do you feel like, you knew where to go, you had all the information, or do you wish, you had more?
I guess a good thing is that we have quite a nice orientation program at the start of each year. So there's campus tours and all sort of events going on. And I guess the good thing about MSD is that we have our very own building, which means that pretty much everything and all your classes, lectures, including the facilities like laser cutting and 3D printers, they're all located in the same spot. So it's quite easy to navigate around.
Oh, that's excellent. And also, I didn't mention the whole coffee culture. Everybody loves a coffee. Do you drink coffee?
Well, unfortunately, I'm more of a tea person, but I do have some very coffee enthusiastic friends, and they say that we had two coffee spots right next to our buildings, literally, and I think they say Castro's a bit better.
Yeah, so it's so funny because there's a cafe right in the building called Standing Room,
Mhm.
and that was actually started by a Bachelor of Design student, which is incredible because it just goes to show that you could start a Bachelor of Design, which is a design degree, and then end up in business and running a cafe. So it is, really multidisciplinary
Yes. I
program.
mean, maybe why. Oh, sorry.
I know
No, I
that's
was just
okay.
gonna comment that maybe that's why the interior of that coffee space is very nice.
Yes, I think so too. I think there's definitely some design influences. In your degree, actually, have you done any breadth subjects?
Yes, I have done some breadth subjects. So I took some physics subjects, obviously, because I want to continue to do engineering. I also took some language breadth as well, and a psychology breadth. So there's really no limit to what you can choose. I know some of my friends, they took like music breadth or even kind of like fine arts breadth, which really helps you, I guess, to get your creativity up and going.
That's awesome. Which language are you studying?
I'm studying French, but I have a long way to go.
Oh my God. Oh la la, that's amazing. It's impressive. How do you have time for this? I think for those that don't know what breadth is, and I don't think I've mentioned it, so basically the way that Melbourne curriculum is designed is that students that are doing an undergraduate degree, one of their subjects in semester has to be outside of their major. So as you heard, Lisa's doing a language, and also, she wants to get into engineering, so she's taking a physics subject, which is a prerequisite. So there's really an opportunity for you to expand your learning and also not to limit yourself in case you do want to change your mind and go into something else when you graduate. So I think it's a really, really great program. And I think it just enriches your studies as well. You're not kind of stuck doing the same thing day in, day out. So my last question, Lisa, would be, do you have any advice for brand new international students coming into Faculty of Architecture, Building and Planning?
I guess it's just to really reach out to we don't really say classmate, but the people that's in your same tutorial or your studios, because number one, you'll be with them for quite a while during the semesters, during classes. So it's really good if you guys can help each other out. And I guess further along, it's just good to know somebody like on campus, so you can always have someone to hang out and go out and play with, and just generally just hang out with them. Yeah.
I think it's very important. It's so important to make connections. And there's so many beautiful spots around the university. Like I'm looking out the window now and the sun is shining and there's so many students out and about and it's really lovely. Thank you so much, Lisa. I really appreciate your time and I hope that, the students get a lot out of this.
Thank you so much for your time, and thank you,
No
Lisa, for your sharing your experience. It's very
Yeah,
It's
Lisa, it was
nice to hear the
awesome.
insights.
Thank you. And we have the
Thank you.
best ambassadors. Like they're always putting their hand up and helping us out. So I really appreciate it, Lisa.
Thank you. I'm glad I could help.
Thank you. And good luck to you.
Yes, good luck. Yeah, and good luck to the
Good luck.
applicants too.